Yo, 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 yo. What's up, Tune?
What's up, Herschel?
Yo, we want to welcome our listeners. Once again, thank you. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. Thank you for listening. Of course, you can find us on Google Play, iTunes, Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. Send us an email at realtalkbth@gmail.com. Twitter, realtalkbth. Hit us up. Welcome back once again for another episode. We got a nice little couple of topics for you. Topping off with some Lavar Ball talk. You know, they've released their first shoe for Lonzo Ball. I know you wanted to get into that, but first, let's get into a little update on what's been going on with us recently. Tune?
Yeah, most definitely. First, I have to do a shout out to my homegirl Morgan, who lives in DC. She went to Emory with me. She's
Emory.
She's a fabulous person. But she said we should talk about LeVar Ball and the Big Baller Brand on the podcast. So I was like, all right, we doing this one for her.
Yeah.
You guys should follow her on Twitter. Her Twitter is at MORGLAMIGNONNE. So
You want to try to pronounce it?
I don't want to try to pronounce that.
I don't either.
But y'all got that. So follow her and, just show her some love. And I hope she likes what we got to say. But,
yeah.
like I said, we talking about the Big Baller Brand, LeVar Ball and whatnot. But first, I went to the Future concert last night, Sans Herschel. And
I couldn't make it, man.
I was lit. It was a lit concert. And this is my third time seeing Future, and this would rank number 2.
Who else came out with them?
Man, we were kind of late.
Damn.
To the concert. So we saw the very end of Young Thug, and then during Future's set, DJ Esco came out, and he doesn't, he's not a rapper, but he played his the Esco tape, the one that came out last year.
Yeah.
He played his songs from that one, Too Much Sauce, and a couple other songs.
Okay.
And he wasn't rapping, but he was just out there vibing, cooling, had the crowd lit.
Yeah.
Had a couple hype men. It was lit, you know what I'm saying? So that was cool. That was cool. But as I said, it's second place on my list of Future, of when I've seen Future.
Yo, you guys didn't get rained on, right? I know
we were in the canopy.
Oh, okay.
The canopy of Lakewood Amphitheater here in Atlanta. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was a good concert. Good concert.
No shenanigans?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. This concert was just like really it was a mediocre concert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking anything away from Future. He did his thing. He showed up. He rapped. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't do full songs.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a show.
Yeah.
It was just like, let's come out here and just jam out for a little bit with Future instead of at the crib.
Yeah.
So
Which can be cool.
That's my take. Yeah, it was cool, and I don't think our tickets were too expensive, but I don't know.
Yo, so you said this is number 2 of the 3. Which one was the best one?
Drake Future. And
Okay.
that wasn't his set, it wasn't his concert, but he had I think, okay, so he did the Drake Future songs, and then he had a set by himself where he did a few. He came out to Thought It Was a Drought, which was hard, and he rapped the whole song.
Yeah, that was pretty lit. I was there for that one.
Oh yeah. I forgot you were there for that one. That one was just that was the best. And then the last or the lowest was Drake. I'm not Drake, sorry, but Outkast in 2014. He was just one of the headliners. He performed before Outkast, and the thing though is that Outkast was crazy. Some of the people before, I know they had Janelle Monáe. She was crazy.
Yeah.
And then Future and 2 Chainz came out. They had different sets each, and they were both just out there just hopping around rapping.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could see this on YouTube,
I think for that concert, the way I interpreted it, and I kind of passed out at that one. That was another dope concert. But I felt like the energy of the people there was directed towards Outkast, and nobody would it was very difficult to shift gears for the 2 Chainz or Future type of turn up, and Janelle Monáe's turn up fits very well into that same lane of Outkast. So that kind of added to the hype of those portions of the concert, and it just kind of fell off there. But that's what's up though. I see you concert going ass nigga. We out here.
Cool. It was cool. How was your night? What'd you get into? It was Cinco de Mayo after all. So
yes.
So
we did have the tequila pouring. It was cool. I initially did not expect to get into anything crazy. Life expert James came through. We chopped it up a little bit. We had a few other people come through, Amber, Kelly, and friends. But the way things ended up, way more people than I anticipated ended up in my house. I don't know if you guys have been there, but I think we've all been in a situation like that before. You throw some type of something, or you invite a few people, and all of a sudden, it ends up being 12, 13 people in your house, and you're like, oh, well, I guess we turned it up then. So that was okay. That wasn't the worst thing ever. Of course, it was difficult, like getting everybody out and ordering Ubers and shit. And yes, bruh, I spent a fucking grip on Uber last night. It was not fun. Even splitting it up because there were so many people, I had to get an XL, and with 85 being trashed, there was traffic everywhere. Even in the middle of the day today, it took me an hour to get over here and shit.
Okay, all right, let's put it on the table, man. How much you drop on the Uber? Because I dropped a lot on the Uber too on the way back. My boys paid me back, but just initially
there and back, I spent $85.
Whoo, dang. Well, on the way back was $60.
Damn.
The person on the way there was a little bit cheaper, but someone else covered it.
Okay.
So, we just have to get into a little rant right quick. Me and Herschel, man.
Please do.
Look, I'm not about being stranded. Like, there's just nothing that's going to, especially with Uber, I'm not being stranded anywhere these days.
And drunk driving is not okay as well. Just
right.
To
that's another thing that I've given up. Back when I was 22, 23.
Yes. I'd rather pay the 85 than the 10,000 or however the fuck much it is.
Yeah.
To get that shit off your record and all of that.
So, regardless though, I'm not going to be stranded. So I'm going to call it Uber, but you wish that you can split it in some fashion. And the thing about, people don't have everything. And me and Herschel are one of the few people that have everything. We got Venmo, we got Lyft, we got Uber, like we got everything. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But there's people that don't have Venmo. Like, it's just never people. Not everyone is on the same page. I'm like, you got 3 or 4 or 5 people trying to get an Uber. It's going to be mayhem, in my opinion. Especially if you're drinking. It never works out.
Every time.
That's just a little pet peeve of mine that I just had to say. I just had to get that out there.
No, you're good, bro. And of course, this shit is trash. So, we're headed to El Bar. It's called El Azteca. So, a little Mexican themed restaurant for the day and everything. We already been turning up on tequila. It's a good time, right? So we get there about 12 or so. None other than, big fan, comedian Hannibal Buress, who I know is listening to this shit. So turn up. I am going to have to put him on the podcast. But we run into Hannibal Buress at the party. And it's hilarious because, I don't know if I would say homie is like a celebrity, but, he's recognizable. He is, somewhat famous. He's on TV. He's a cool guy. He's got a Netflix, original, show. So that's pretty dope to me. So we get there and obviously he's not... I didn't recognize it was him until somebody like tapped me on the shoulder and was like, yeah, that's Hannibal. And then it all came back to me like, oh, yeah, that's him. He was being this exact same character that he is on stage. Like just a hilarious, like just super mellow, chill dude. And just kicking it with our crew the entire night. We were with a bunch of chicks. So Amber is talking to him and I don't know if you guys know his little stand-up routine where he talks about like bringing a chick back and like, so if I bring you back and you eat up all my food, like, the girl is asking like, do you expect to have sex with me? Amber asks him these questions and he doesn't mean to go into the routine. It's like a natural conversation or whatever. But he's like, I mean, it depends on like how many people come back and like what's going on. Like if 5 chicks come back, yeah, I kind of expect, I might, have sex with at least one of you. Like, come on. And the way Amber puts it, he was not on her smash list. So she couldn't make it happen. She was like, no. So instead, she invites all these people to come back to my fucking house. And I'm like, oh.
And Hannibal too?
See, I wasn't a part of the conversation, so I don't think so. I think he had his own ulterior motives. But that would have been cool. Like, he'd have been cool to come.
Wait, so was he in line just waiting to get in with the rest of y'all?
He helped them get in. Oh, so for El Azteca, right? There are upstairs and downstairs portions of the restaurant, right? He was upstairs first, and they run into him upstairs, and then come down, and he basically helps them like finesse the line. And once we're inside and kicking it and having drinks and dancing or whatever, he's there chopping it up. He's turning up. He's having a good time. Which is cool. Celebrities or whomever should be able to have a good time without being accosted by like strangers all the time as well.
Right.
Which reminds me, do you know who John H. Benjamin is? Like the voice of Archer?
H.
John Benjamin?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which he goes by.
The dad in
Bob's Burgers.
Yes.
Yeah. That dude goes to my gym, and like every day I see him. One, that dude is like, all right, I'm not gonna put his business out there, but goes to my gym. He's a cool dude, but I always feel weird. I'm like, man, should I approach this guy and like make it awkward for him to come here and like just live his life, or should I just be cool, dap him up, keep it moving? But I also want to say like, yo, I'm a fan of your work, man. You do a good job. Yeah. So I was thinking that same thing, even with Hannibal, and obviously he was macking, so I just like kind of let him do his thing. But yeah, it was cool.
Wait, all right, so great story. That's so awesome.
Yes.
One thing though, so Hannibal's not on Amber's smash list.
Yes, she did start to give a smash list. I don't know. We're gonna put the business out there, man.
No, we're not putting nobody's business out there, but I'm just thinking, man. I mean, obviously Hannibal is successful. I don't know how much money he's got, but he can definitely take her out on a couple nice dates. Like,
bruh, my whole point was like, yo, this dude worked really hard to be funny and get these TV shows to get on people's smash list. That's the whole point, right?
So, hey, look, anyone can have their own smash list. Anyone is free to have their own smash list.
This is true.
Whether you're black, white, transgender, gay, whatever, blue or orange or green. I just had to get the
yo, fuck them orange niggas though. I only know one, but fuck them.
Yeah. All right, well, this podcast is officially non-orange nick. Yeah, if you're orange and also in some position of high power, don't listen to this podcast. We don't want you.
No.
So but yeah, so that's cool. I mean, it sounds like we both had some pretty good nights
now
here in Atlanta.
There was a little bit further into the night. So, all these people are coming back to my crib. And of course, when we kick it with Kelly and Amber and everybody, many times we'll wrap it up going to Waffle House. It's a staple. Everybody's drunk. You make one more bad decision. I mean, it is what it is, right? So, because we're coming back to my crib, I get it into my head, okay, I'm hungry, but I don't want, like, once you get home, you don't really want to leave again, right?
No, absolutely not.
You get into that mode. So I start cooking. I'm like, yo, I'm hungry. I'm going to make me some bacon, some sausage, some eggs. But then I remember, oh man, my house is full of people. And they're out here eyeing this grub. And it almost got done. It almost got finished. And I had to be a young savage and kick these niggas out my house.
Bruh.
I had to just be like, yeah, so y'all gotta go. Bacon frying right here, smelling really fucking good. Like, oh my God, but Herschel, you said you were gonna cook. I said I was gonna cook. I did not say I was gonna cook for everybody.
Right. Yeah, man. Just like they told you in kindergarten, first grade, that you should share. Fuck that shit when you an adult.
Yeah. Yo, I did give somebody a piece of bacon. Yante got a piece of bacon. But aside from that, everybody else had to go ahead and get up out of here.
That person should be grateful.
Yes.
Grateful.
But yeah, it was a pretty good time. So, there was some tragedy last night. Now, Toon, you have never missed a flight, right?
No.
I've never missed a flight. I've never left some shit in an Uber. I've never, we all make mistakes. We all forget something or something like that. Somebody lost their keys in the Uber last night. And it has been hell all day today trying to figure out how to get back in contact, how to find them shits. And in my head, I'm like, yo, they're probably gone. There's no fucking way. Of course.
I mean, that's typically how I would approach it, but yeah. I just have to say, man, I'm gonna knock on wood right now before even getting into this conversation.
Me too.
But like, I don't lose shit.
Yeah, I lose sunglasses. I lose things that are not like super crucial.
Right,
but,
right.
Like the crucial shit, I'm always phone keys wallet. I need to know where it's at all times.
Exactly. And phone. Oh, what you said.
You're good, bro. But yeah, phone keys, wallet, phone. Yes, double check that phone because that's your lifeline to damn near everything else.
Right. So I just don't understand, like, why people don't just got control of these things. Like, how do you just lose shit? You know what I'm saying? And, I'm not trying to knock anyone who's lost anything, but
it'd be like that sometimes.
And I know the person who you're talking about. She doesn't lose stuff. So this one time is understandable, but there are people who perpetually lose all three of the above.
Yes.
And I don't understand how they survive.
Can't do it.
So
I do not know. But
that's just
as the person who ordered the Uber, everything kind of goes through me to recontact, and it's been hell. But overall, it was a cool night. Another good episode of Cinco de Mayo. I did yak last night. It made me feel so much better this morning. I woke up, kind of late, but when I woke up, I was like, oh, I got a lot of energy. I'm good. Everybody else is kind of struggling, but they'll be okay.
Absolutely. I mean, I recommend throwing up, taking a nice little yak every once in a while. If you like to drink, if you like to go out, have fun, just go ahead and do a little throw up once in a while. It'll make you feel good and just sort of rebase you.
Yeah, it's cathartic,
Brought to you by Real Talk. So yeah, the reason why we even got on the pod today was to talk about the Big Baller brand, and I have a few things to say.
Okay,
but we probably should start off with the shoes because that's what's in, the media right now.
Right.
The Big Baller brand has been in the media for quite some time, but the big main thing are the shoes, the Z02 Primes that came out earlier this week. And I mean, okay, I have a few things to say about the shoes. First of all, they're not ugly, they're not horrible. Like, if you looked up every single NBA player's shoes that has a shoe deal, I will guarantee you the Z02 Primes fall at least in the middle. Like, as far as just being a basic basketball shoe, they look pretty decent. I mean, they look okay. I don't know if I would buy them just off the strength of the look, but they're good looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes can hoop in them and still be straight. They're not going to get roasted on. What are those? It's not like that. It's not like that. So I just have to get that out there, man. What you think?
So, yeah, what I'm afraid you're saying, though, is they don't stand out. Do they look basic? They look cool to me. They're chill shoes. They're not, to me, they don't, upend the shoe business. And to me, to be an entrepreneur, to break into this game that's run by, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, whomever, you're going to have to do something that no other brand has done. There is where I don't see this shoe changing the game. I do wish the best upon, their entrepreneurship. I see my man's Lavar Ball like always selling, always be closing, always be selling. Like, he's doing that. He's hustling every single time he's on TV, every single time he has any type of medium, every single time he's put on anything. But I don't see these as game changers. And my thing is, he's trying to brand it and bill it as this is a game changer.
Do you think so? See, that's where I'm like not sure. Do you see these as supposed to be the game changer, or just like that, the first step into the Big Baller brand being more national and widespread? Because before, the Big Baller brand was just them in high school balling out. Okay, then Lonzo Ball goes to UCLA, balls out. But now this is the real money making Big Baller brand. Like, they're stepping into a market. They can reach the whole entire nation via his status as an NBA player, which is still not, confirmed. Mm-hmm. But does it have to be groundbreaking? Does it have to change the game? Or should they just come out with the shoe?
As a business venture, yeah. So we had a little bit of a conversation about this before. You were saying you did want this to kind of like upend the industry and be like, oh, well, this is, a successful Black entrepreneur who is adding another option to the game versus Nike or whatever. To me, for him to really make headway, he's got to be like a true competitor. He's got to strike fear into executives at Nike as like, oh man, we could actually hurt the market share. I could affect, how many kids on the street or on the basketball court or in the NBA or however are like actually wearing these shoes versus how many are wearing Nike, Reebok, Adidas. I just don't see it happening. This has been tried in the past. Everybody, damn near everybody who becomes, an NBA star gets their own shoe. Like, Shaq has had shoes and they don't take off. Alonzo Mourning has had shoes like they've had the idea as a different, like, game-changing idea. Okay, well, I'm going to market them to lower income people as opposed to the high price point of Jordans or whatever.
Right. Okay, Herschel, see, this is one thing that I think is so incredible about this brand is all those people you were talking about, they were still trying to operate within the framework of the traditional of you you make some shoes and you try to sell them to a certain market, and you basically just try to market it, via your brand.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we're in a generation of social media, and without getting too deep into it, I'm sure y'all know about the Fire Festival, which is so incredibly hilarious to me. The Fire Festival fraud. And the reason why it works is because they got people on social media to post about it.
Yeah.
So if they got $10,000 here, $10,000 here, which I don't know if they have, but before any of all this big baller brand, Lavar Ball may be a successful just businessman. Maybe he has got some little cash up.
Yeah.
$10,000 here to Lil Yachty to post, $10,000 here to a few just random people. And that's all you need, because it's the social media age, and where you don't have to go into the market share of those big brands, but you just build a market for your own self based on your social media marketing, your connections, your influence. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, they said they paid Kendall Jenner $250,000 to post about the Fire Festival, which honestly is unbelievable because she has close to 100 million Instagram followers. Yeah. So out of that 100 million, if he was able to get Kendall Jenner to post about it, and being Lonzo Ball, over time, maybe he becomes like an actual well-liked NBA player. Maybe not quite a superstar in his talent, but he's just a cool guy. He goes out to parties, he dresses nice. People know him. He likes to hang out. Whatever. Like, you can get a quick Kendall Jenner to post something. She has 100 million followers. If 1,000 people buy the shoes, there's 1,000 people following Kendall Jenner who can drop 500 and be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying marketing is essentially the key here. Like, he's just gonna have to continue to double down. Damn near any of the initial proceeds are gonna have to go to more people to market it more, to get more social media following behind it.
Right. And see, the thing though for me is, people are acting as if this Z02 Prime is just like, that's it. Like, this is the big baller brand.
Yeah.
By the time LaMelo goes to the NBA, which is in about 4 or 5 years, if they have just steadily just made little increases over time, because I think he's even way more marketable. Yeah. And you come out with his shoe, and you got the Z02 Primes on whatever came out, and this time his turn. Like, the big baller brand could make an impact. So it's like, you start off small, and like you said, the first sort of profits that they make, or any money they make, will have to go to that paying $10,000 here, whatever, $50,000 here for social media influencers. But by the time LaMelo comes to college and to the NBA, who they say could be like a Curry, he's already really marketable. Like, of the three brothers, he's the most marketable already. Yeah. Like, by the time he gets to that point, the big baller brand could be legit. Yeah. So
potentially, yeah.
That's how I see the shoes. But
so to me, his branding, his marketing is working, because one, we're literally talking about it right now. Like, it's in the news. It's on ESPN. He's been doing the circuit and interviews here and there. One of the other things, because we kind of touched on it, is that price point. These $500 shoes, $495. That's a crazy price point. Like, I'm not sure, again, what market he's going to in terms of, like, is he expecting, even if, let's say Kendall Jenner does tweet out to her millions of followers or whatever, and let's say a few thousand happen to buy shoes. Are these people also going to be hooping in these shoes? Or are these $500 shoes that you're going to wear out somewhere? Yeah. Like, what is the goal here?
That's a good question. That's one thing I haven't wrapped my head around when I think of this from an entrepreneur perspective, which is what Lavar Ball is. Right. But I see it as kind of like in the range of the Yeezys, where they're rare, and like, if you don't pay for them, you don't got them. I don't got Yeezys. I'm not pressed to get Yeezys, but like, the price point is too high for me for Yeezys, and also the resale is way too high. It's like kind of like a limited thing, with the Yeezys, and possibly this is what they're going for too. But the thing about Yeezy, is that he did partner with a big brand, both Nike and Adidas, and also he has his own brand that sort of elevates it, his own Kanye West brand. Like, Kanye West, I don't know when his first album came out, but that's got to be around 15 years ago now. Like 15 years of branding what Kanye is now, and he's also one of the biggest superstars in the world musically. So that I don't know. I don't know what the $500 price point is like. What do you think?
I think again, it's a marketing tool. It's a talking point. It's another thing that you bring up, and you're like, oh well, this shoe is in the news media again. I think the problem though is it's not cool enough. I think to make it work, it would have to be a partnership the way Kanye did, just as you said. So there's this saying that anyone can fake it or just kind of be around the fame or fortune scene or Hollywood scene for 3 years and kind of just be around. But if you do something longer than 3 years, that becomes your career. You are established. Your business, whatever your thing is, you are now that. Like the Kardashians have been around more than 3 years. This is what they do. This is their career. They are professional mediaites, socialites, I should say. I don't think we'll know if this big baller brand is able to be around, it has any staying power for another year or two. Honestly, they only came into notoriety, around March Madness. So it's only been 2 or 3 months. Now, the fact that they've been able to stay relevant that long without Lavar Ball having any true skills himself is incredible. Yeah, his sons have the talent, and because he's got another son in the works, LaMelo coming up, he can continue to be marketable. And maybe it's just an annual thing. Each time March Madness comes around, this guy comes back into the news. But I do think at a point, without sales, without numbers, without Nike money backing up this brand, I hate to say, I think it's going to fail. The shoes look cool though. Yeah. I'd wear them, I guess, if I had some, like if I didn't have something else, but because of the competition, because of the competitive market, yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's a great investment for people to go into as a business venture. I feel like he could have been more creative and come up with something else that people could use, that could be a better marketable area than another sneaker. You know what I mean? That's where I find a flaw. Yeah. Another basketball shoe.
Well, yeah, that's a really good point, and it puts a lot of pressure on his son, to like play well and succeed, because when you put the big baller brand onto the Z02 Prime, which is his son's shoe, and his son comes out here and flops, that puts a lot of pressure on the brand as well. Yeah. But, to your point about them not really being able to succeed outside of having that presence of a large brand to help them, I'm like, I think that's really the point, obviously, is that, they want to own this. They want to own this. And I feel as if they can, but it would take a lot of stuff, like a lot of marketing, a lot of effort in order to establish the big baller brand without the help of a bigger brand like Adidas or Nike. And and I don't know, I kind of feel like sometimes LaVar Ball is a genius because he still has LiAngelo Ball.
That's the third son, right?
The second son. Okay. LaMelo's the third son.
Okay.
No one talks about LiAngelo. I don't know anything about his basketball skills, but he's committed to UCLA.
Yeah, what do you think of these Negroes' names? I'll let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. Sorry, we got to get into that, but go ahead.
Well, LiAngelo's already committed to UCLA. LaMelo's already committed to UCLA. I don't know anything about LiAngelo's skills. Some people say LaMelo could maybe, be Curry-esque. But if LiAngelo goes and he balls out and UCLA wins the championship, he's got that. He's got that. LaMelo comes, he goes to UCLA. He's like top player in the country. He's got that. Like, he's got great players marketing the brand. Yeah. The only thing that now the players have a lot of pressure.
That's true.
They have a lot of pressure. If the hopes and the livelihood of the big baller brand is dependent on the players, which I think it is. So
yeah. So we do actually have a quote from LaVar Ball about the price point. He was on ESPN Radio's Dan Le Batard show yesterday, and I'll read it real quick. There was a question about why did he choose the reasoning behind what was the reasoning behind the $495 price point. He says, I figure that's what the shoe is worth. When you're owner, you can come up with any price you want. So he doesn't really give like a reasoning behind it. It's just, to him, that's what it's worth. And then, just as you said, if he's able to get the marketing behind it, just honestly just has his kids, one, ball, and two, wear the shoes, their names will be in the media. It'll be a recurring issue, and that can essentially help build the brand. But that's a lot of pressure. Your business is either, there's a lot of chance to sports. There's talent to these games, but a missed or made or missed shot, or relying on a teammate to make or miss a shot in a big moment is a huge risk to weigh on your business. It's a business venture. I do, condone him trying to make money off the back of the UCLA. I mean, not UCLA. Well, yes, UCLA, but the NCAA, which is making, billions off the backs of all of these kids year after year after year after year. So I do, salute him there. But I don't know. I'm also afraid if he actually does start to make some headway, he's just going to get bought out. That's how these companies do. A much better businessman than Lavar Ball, Jay-Z, came out with Tidal. And like, it was going to be that next big thing. And then Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play Music were all like, actually, we're going to come up with our own thing and push you all the way out of the market. Right. And that's basically what happened. Even with, a great branding tool like Beyonce, Tidal is damn near irrelevant, Yeah.
I see exactly what you mean. You're right. There's a lot of good points there. And, LeVar Ball, the way I see it is like, he's either a master genius or he's just doing this shit one step at a time and hoping that it'll turn out okay.
That's the thing though. We're all going through this life, like one day at a time. Like, this is a brand new day. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to make this shit work, but I'm going to make it work. Yeah. Everybody is doing that all the time.
True. So I wanted to get into LeVar Ball himself, the person. And we can start off by the names, as you mentioned earlier. I just have to say it. I like them. I actually really like the names. I like Lonzo the best. It just sounds cool. Ball, having the last name Ball, obviously, just makes everything perfect. But Lonzo, LaMelo, LiAngelo, I feel like I'm far off from having children, but I can't say that I would name my kid any of those, but it's like, it's not just, not like something I would just be like, hell nah.
Bro, you're going to name your kids Tunzo?
That might work.
Tunzo.
That might work. I like
Tune Angelo.
Whoa, that sounds dope. Tune Angelo? I'm liking Tune Angelo. Shoot. But, I could see maybe Lonzo. I could maybe go with Lonzo as like an actual name I would name my own kid. What do you got to say?
Man, I'm really torn because as a person, also with a unique name, you don't know that many people named Herschel or whatever. I feel like people, before they meet you or before they see you in person, they try to gauge however much information they can just from your name. So many times I hate it when I run into black people who have a name that's like, oh, you can clearly tell he's black. I'm always afraid, oh, well, your resume might get thrown out of this interview or that, or it might be held against you. It can be used, in positive ways as well. It can also be a way for you to get your foot in the door. But that's always been a fear for me. It took me a long time, to be honest, to like come to grips with, my own name and be like, oh man, I have a cool name. I used to grow up and be like, oh man, people can never spell it. Sometimes it's difficult for people to pronounce. And I had to grow and, learn and recognize, Herschel doesn't mean anything. In Yiddish, I think it means deer or stag. But to me, my name only really means like, okay, I am the, reincarnation of my father who is, has the same name as his father. And, further back a fourth time to my great grandfather. Yeah. I'm just carrying on that legacy. That's all I really have. Versus other people who may have some meaning behind their names. I'm not coming at you if there's something behind your name, if your parents thought, okay, well, I think this is beautiful or whatever. But it's always interesting to me to hear different and unique names. I definitely got into a rant the other day where I was talking about some friends that I know who people who are named like Miracle and Unique and Beautiful and Princess and just random shit like that. And even celebrities like T.I. named all his kids King and Royalty and the money and shit like that. I'm always like shaking my fucking head at decisions like that because those kids didn't get the opportunity to choose their name. It's something chosen by somebody else that belongs to you that literally everybody else uses way more than you do. And to me, I'm afraid of that being a penalty for people. So they're the Lonzo, LaMelo, LiAngelo, is that the other one?
Yeah, that's the second one.
That is a cool name, but it's always funny to me. It's always interesting. And then you'll get into like twins who are named like Phil and Lil and shit like that. And I'm always like, really, guys? That's what's going on here. Y'all thought, oh, well, they'll be cute names now, but then they have to grow up and live their lives as that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's always crazy.
Yeah, but that's a really, really big point, man. Without getting too deep into my own culture and past, but my listeners, I think you guys know I'm Nigerian. My name is Babatunde. My full name is Babatunde. My full first name. And Baba means father in my mom's native language, and Tunde means return. So
it's Igbo. Igbo is like
Yoruba.
Okay.
Yeah. So it means the return of the father or father's return.
Mm-hmm.
But in a little bit more deeper level, my grandfather, her dad, my mom's dad, died before I was born. So it's like was automatic, what you were saying about people having a name and they got to deal with it for life. Like, it was kind of automatic for my mom. She could have named me something else, but it was just like, all right, her dad died before I was born. And I am the firstborn male after his death. Yeah. So in our whole family, my mom's sisters and whatever.
Yeah. So
it was like I'm his reincarnation, Babatunde. I'm the return of the father. So yeah, man. Names have a lot of different connotations. Yeah,
yeah.
And it, like you said, you're a Herschel the Fourth. So, and you said it's kind of like a reincarnation of all the Herschels that came before you. You know. So yeah. I mean, hey,
I think it also to go back to Big Baller Brands, like. Maybe Lavar Ball had this planned in the long run, but it also ties back into branding all the time. Of course, yeah, as you said, their last name is Ball, so that's perfect. But
yeah,
Zoe, it is a cool last name. I won't lie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but back to Lavar Ball himself, man. He's been in the media. People have fallen on different sides of the fence for him, and
I do think that dude is a clown. I disagree with you. I don't think he's a genius. I think he's just out here wilding and piecing it together, and it's working.
Right. Well, let me say this. I think that he is part genius and part clown. Part clown because his method of marketing is all publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
And most of the time clownish or kind of dumb or kind of just outrageous media, as we have seen with President Trump and his whole campaign, is what gets the headlines.
Yeah, it works. Bullshitting works.
Exactly. But it appears he's had like a very methodical plan for all of these moves. You know what I'm saying? Like it appears that way. I'm not saying it is. It appears that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm very torn about him. I cannot forgive his clownish, like the shit he says, like talking about he could take Jordan and his son is like the best player. I mean, maybe his son is the best player, but in the draft, but you like he has a lot of voice. Like he's being brought on to a lot of television shows, a lot of ESPN shows, a lot of radio shows. Like he has a lot of voice. So he's saying all of this stuff. And when I watch them, first of all, he doesn't put pressure on his children. Like in the media, he doesn't expect them to go out and market the ball brand or whatever.
That is true.
He expects them to play basketball.
Yes.
And go to the NBA. That's it. And at the end of the day, as a person, and when I assess my own values, like he's actually a good dad. He's a really good father. He really has done what, he believes is best for his children, for them to achieve their goals. And now Lonzo is being talked about as a lottery pick. So I cannot, look around the fact that he's a good dad and he's helping his children achieve his goals, you know. But outside of that, dude is kind of a clown. So that's my personal feeling about LaVar Ball.
The thing is, it works. It's working thus far. So, I mean, he can be a clown, but you know, he's gonna be laughing all the way to the bank. So there you go. But yeah, man, do you have any other talking points? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
Hey, I mean, I hope that we were able to elaborate on the baller brand, the big baller brand, you know, in depth to our listeners' liking. I hope that, you know, this brings you some insight. I hope you guys enjoy it. Definitely get up with us. You know, in all forms of social media. Herschel, what are those again?
Yo, you can find us on Twitter at Real Talk BTH. You can find us on our Facebook group, same thing, at Real Talk Beyond the Headlines, at Real Talk BTH. Send us an email if you got questions, comments, concerns. You can review us on iTunes. Again, it's at Real Talk BTH, Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. Right. You can find us on Google Play Store, Stitcher, SoundCloud. It's all the same. Shoot this out to a friend if you think they'll enjoy it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Holla at us.
Yeah, we're one last thing that I gotta throw in there. So first of all, we're on iTunes now.
Turn up.
Herschel and I both despise all Apple products.
Fuck Apple.
We'll get into that into a different podcast.
Yes, little teaser for you.
But we despise all Apple products. However, we are on iTunes. So please, if that's your method of podcasting, check us out. Last thing, congrats to Morgan, who inspired this podcast via Twitter on graduating from law school. I'm going to hit you up because, you know, when Real Talk gets really big, we're going to have some probably lawsuits of people suing us.
Yeah.
Talking about that we stole their ideas when all of this is original. You heard it here for the first time ever on Real Talk.
Got to get that legal team built now. You're absolutely right. We already got dentists, you know, doctors, you know, my healthcare is taken care of. So I think we should be good to go.
Hey, we out here. Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. You heard it here for the first time ever. Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. Peace.
Peace.